Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Movie Reviews for Life. And I'm now going to be doing my Batman Returns film and DVD review. This is the special edition. Alright, first off, I'd like to start off with you saw my review for Batman. And I enjoyed that film a lot. It brought, it helped usher in a whole new era of Batman that started with Batman in the 30s. Batman Returns, I'm kind of on and off again with this film. We get Tim Burton back as director, and of course, he still does a fine job at directing. There's a little bit inconsistencies with the look of Gotham City. Now it looks more like a soundstage, instead of an actual, you know, um, modeled city or whatever. It looks fake. And that's my one issue with the film is that Gotham City should have a personality. I mean, you have all these other characters. Gotham City should always stay the same, but with its personality. All right. We get some of the same key players, but this time they're a bit different. They're not like they were in the first film, which for me is not a good thing because yes, they should evolve their characters, but I think they should always keep the core of how their characters are, and they don't do that in this one, and that's what disappointed me. Michael Keaton in the first film, he was very he played the Bruce Wayne character as kind of this offish playboy type. He's gonna like there's a scene where he sleeps with Vicky Vale, and then the next day he just lets her go. And he's kind of more of in this one he's trying to have a relationship. Whereas opposed to in the first one he didn't want a relationship, or at least that's how he made it seem. The Batman character isn't as it seems as dark as he was in the first film. He's now talking with Commissioner Gordan. He's not as to himself. He communicates not as much, but he still communicates now. And that was kind of a character development I didn't really enjoy. I thought they should have just kept him a loner, and not talking too much. And I would like to see Commissioner Gordon still trying to find out who he is and still wanting to lock him up because he's a vigilante. And I know that's not how it is in the comics, but that was how it was in the beginning, and it would have been nice for them to keep going with that. But in this one, he's basically opened up the whole city for Batman to save. And I just thought, because this couldn't have happened, this movie cannot take place more than a few months to a year after the first film. So for them to quickly embrace Batman, it's kind of hard to believe. Billy D. Williams is not in this film for some reason. They completely just take his character out. We get Pat Hingle again as Commissioner Gordon, and Michael Gough as Alfred, and they're both still great in their roles. Although Michael Gough seems to play an annoyed version of Alfred. Annoyed in the sense, excuse me, I'm kind of having a bad day with my throat. Annoyed in the sense that that it's like he's getting tired of the way Bruce is, and I kind of laugh at that when I was younger, and now it's just like, alright, well, you're having a problem with the father and son type of dynamic, the new key players in the film. This is not a Batman story. The film is called Batman Returns, but really Batman takes a back seat in this film, because Tim Burton always liked the dark characters more than the good guys, and he said he's not a big comic book person, but the characters he did like in the Batman mythos was Penguin and Catwoman, and that's why he brought them into this one. And of course the Joker, which he brought in the first one. Danny DeVito, you couldn't get anybody else to play him as good as Danny DeVito, unless you're Burgess Meredith, and sadly he's passed on. Danny DeVito he just seemed to fit the role to a T. He he was just excellent. There's really nothing I can really say about his performance except that it was out there, and that's why I enjoyed. He had the whole story of finding out that he's actually a rich kid who was dumped because he was disfigured. It is never said, though, that his parents were brother and sister, but that's what's implied by many fans, that's why he was deformed, was because it was an incest relationship. Plus, of course, you got Paul Rubens and what's her name from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, as the parents of Oswald Cobblepot. Great performance by Danny DeVito. I don't know what they're going to do if they decide to bring the Penguin back. I hope they don't bring the Penguin back because there's other dark characters that should be explored. Then of course you got Michelle Pfeiffer, who was amazing in the role of Catwoman. I mean, the look on Halle Berry was much better than Michelle Pfeiffer's, but considering the film sucked, this was definitely a better Catwoman. They anti-hero, it's just all there, and she just did a superb job in the role. I really wish she would have continued the role, because I know the plan was to have a spin-off movie with her, and they just never got around to doing that. That's why you see her at the end, but the biggest steal in this whole film, and this is what makes it kind of hard to enjoy sometimes, is when you have a made-up character taking the spotlight. And that's what you got with Christopher Walken. I mean, he was just so amazing in this role. He seemed to be more evil than the Penguin and Catwoman combined. And he just took over. Like, whenever he was in a scene, he just lit the whole freaking scene up. He plays Max Schreck, which, of course, if you're a film buff, Max Schreck is named after the actor who played Nosferatu in 1922. In the in the 1922 Nosferatu film. He just was excellent. Then you got, I forget his name, but he played Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake and prequel. He plays Chip Schreck, the son of Christopher Walken. He was also Zangief in Street Fighter. Overall, it's definitely an inferior film. It's not the worst. I would say Batman Forever's kind of up there with it. But all for different reasons. I'm not saying that Batman Forever is better. I'm not saying it's worse. I'm saying it's kind of, up there. So definitely you can go see it. I'm gonna kind of rate this about a 3 out of 5. Because it's a good film for repeated viewings. Just it's not always consistent with the first film. It's darker in some areas, and then it's just lighter in other areas. So yeah, I would definitely go see it. Alright, now moving on to the special features. This is to the special edition, and what we got here is, again, commentary by Tim Burton. And once again, a lot of lag moments, but when he does talk, he really points out stuff, that like some good information. The Bat, the Cat, and the Penguin, which is the making of the film, which I actually do remember seeing when I was a kid. This was like a special on TV, pretty cool. Shadows of the Bat, the cinematic saga of the Dark Knight, Part 4. Which we only get, about a half-hour documentary, because it's the making of Batman Returns, like how they came around with it. You get the face-to-face music video by Siouxsie and the Banshees, which is actually a pretty good video. This is the Batman Returns version of the video, because there's a version without scenes from the film. Beyond Batman documentary gallery, just like in the first film, but it's a technical documentary. Gotham City Revisited, the production design of Batman Returns. Sleek, Sexy, and Sinister, the costumes of Batman Returns. Making up the Penguin. Assembling the Arctic Army, Bats, Mats, and Dark Knights, the visual effects of Batman. Inside the Elfman studio, the music of Batman Returns, which in this case they talked to Danny Elfman about, the music that he did for Batman Returns, and I remember him mentioning for Batman as well, the heroes and villains profile galleries. And that's pretty much it. We don't get as much special features as the first film, but that's because this is basically the sequel, and you don't need as much. So the special features on here are very good, though. They're very, very good. I mean, Warner Brothers definitely owned up to giving us all the special features compared to that original box set that they had, where all we got were trailers, I think it was. So definitely go see it, and I may be doing my Batman Forever review later today. So take care.